Yo! Today we're making an Assassin's Creed main character tier list to find out who is the best, the ultimate assassin. So without further ado, let's begin. So obviously we'll go from the oldest to the newest game. And first of all, Altair. Altair, in my opinion, is the ultimate assassin, is a good example of an ultimate assassin. He has what it takes mentally. Let's go. He is strong, maybe not the strongest of all assassins, but he is strong, he's stealthy, he represents the interests of the brotherhood. So that's one of the key parts why I think he is in the S tier. He can fight, he can infiltrate, and he can lead the brotherhood. Ezio Auditore da Firenze. He is very good. Another good example of a perfect assassin, but we have Ezio 3 times because there were 3 games including Ezio Auditore. So in the first spot, Ezio wasn't very good. Well, that's why many people love the trilogy. Because we can see the main character develop. And in the first part, he is the weakest. He's naive, he's not very strong, he's not very smart, but he's learning. That's why I think he is in the C tier. In Assassin's Creed 2, Ezio is in the C tier. In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, by the end of the second game, he develops. And in Brotherhood, he becomes a good leader of the brotherhood. So he is strong, maybe even stronger than Altair physically. He is smart, he can lead the brotherhood, and he represents the interests of the brotherhood. So that's what makes a good assassin. He can work in the field himself, he's in his prime. So in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I think Ezio is the C tier assassin. Revelations. Ezio Auditore from Revelations, I don't think he is as good as Ezio Auditore in Brotherhood. He's still very good. He is one of a kind assassin. He is there mentally. He has knowledge. He knows the secrets. He knows the truth. But physically, I don't think he can work in the field much. He's still very experienced. He has the most experience. But I think Ezio Auditore in his prime from Brotherhood would defeat Ezio Auditore from Revelations. But he is the kind to lead, to kind of stay out of sight, to lead other assassins. So I think Ezio Auditore from Revelations is an A tier assassin. Next one, Connor. Connor, I think he is physically the strongest assassin ever. He is physically very strong, but he is naive, very naive. He doesn't represent the interests of the Brotherhood. I don't think so. He is more of a popular assassin, he works for the people. That's why you can see him rebuild the Devonport mansion and care for the people. That's also one of his stronger parts, but he's not much of an assassin, if you know what I mean. Physically, I think he could beat in a fist fight any other assassin. But in the game, you can see him adapt to the city because he came from the forest, so he adapts. But I don't think he's still as good in infiltrating as other assassins. But if we're talking about the wild, then he's one of a kind for sure. If you need to take out some people in the wild, in the woods, he sure can deal with them. So I think Connor is one of my favorite characters in Assassin's Creed series, but I don't think he's quite there as Ezio and Altair. Physically, yes. Mentally, and assassins are about being stealthy. I don't think he is very stealthy. In the woods, he is. In the city, he can't really infiltrate. Haytham. Haytham is a bit of an exclusion because he's not an assassin after all. But I think he is an honorable mention. I think we should mention Haytham because he's very skillful, he's charismatic, he has his eyes on the target. Yes, he's a Templar, but he's very good at doing what assassins typically do. So I think Haytham had many opportunities to kill Connor, but he didn't. Maybe because he was intrigued to see what Connor was going to do, and Connor was his son, so I think there were some emotions. But I think Haytham could beat Connor, maybe not in a fist fight. I think maybe he is a little bit weaker, but if we're talking about assassinating skills, he's better. He's better in infiltrating. He is good in the city. He's very good, but in the wild, of course, he's not as good as Connor. He can't climb the trees. He can't adapt to the nature. So I think Haytham will be around Ezio. He's not an assassin, but he is around Ezio. He's very good. He intellectually, he is superior than Connor. So I think he's well above Connor. Aveline, she's just your typical assassin that works in the field. I think we can put Aveline in the E tier. She was just there to be there. Desmond was originally they planned Desmond to be the ultimate assassin, to become the ultimate assassin, to absorb all the knowledge from Altair, Connor, Ezio, from all the other assassins, and in the end defeat the Templars and become the best assassin to ever live. But Ubisoft decided to change the course. So Desmond, physically, yes, he is good. He's good at parkour and all the other stuff. He has the knowledge, but he isn't as intellectually developed as Ezio or Altair or Haytham. He still needs that earpiece, you know what I mean? He needs some people to tell him what to do. So I think that Desmond is around C tier. He saved the world, props to him, but I don't think he would beat any of those assassins who are above. He's kind of on the same level as Ezio when he was young, and Desmond was still young when he saved the world and basically died. Spoiler alert. Edward, physically strong, sneaky bastard, doesn't quite represent the interests of the Brotherhood, but he, if we're talking about working in the sea, if we're talking about being a good captain, because of course assassin expansion needs good captains, especially in that era. It needed good people to lead their fleet, to lead their Brotherhood. I think he's very strong, and by the end of the game he is developed into a good assassin that can be a captain. I don't think he's quite there as to lead something, but he is the one right under those who lead the Brotherhoods. So there are those who stay out of sight, and he is the first one to rush into the battle alongside with Connor. But he would be the one to actually lead Connor, because if we're talking about the sea, because he has more experience in the sea battles. In any other surroundings, I think he could be a little bit worse. So I would actually place him not in the A tier. I don't think he's quite there as Ezio in Revelations. Intellectually, physically, yeah. I would place him a little bit higher than Connor. A little bit higher, but not quite there as Ezio. Shay Patrick Cormac. Also a bit of an exclusion, but he has a standalone game, so we should mention him. Another honorable mention. He was not very good as an assassin. He was one of those who work in the field, but as a Templar he became very good. He achieved a lot. He destroyed the American assassins almost completely and left Achilles crippled for the rest of his life. So I think Shay is the one to be led by Haytham, actually. Haytham would be his boss, and Shay would be also somewhere around Edward, I would say. Because he also has a lot of experience in sea battles. But he can infiltrate well. He killed Arno's father, but I don't think he could win Connor in an open fight. I think he has what it takes mentally to win over Connor. He could think of something, you know. So he is around Edward, but kind of Edward is an assassin and Shay is a Templar. They're of the same scale. They have the same skills, but they're on different ends. Adevale, I think he is the one to be sent somewhere by Edward. He would be one of Edward's soldiers, so I think physically very strong, very strong. I think you could compete with Connor, but in any other part, in every other field, I think he would be in the D tier. Arno Dorian. Arno Dorian I like a lot because he isn't your great assassin, super cool. No, he's one of the regular assassins, but he kind of has his own path. He has his own goal. That's why he isn't very good, because he doesn't represent the interests of the Brotherhood. That's why I think he is somewhere around Ezio in the second part. Of course, by the end of the game, he becomes Master Assassin. He achieves this rank. But as we see him throughout the game, he is kind of the same. He is your typical assassin that does his own thing. He is the one to work in the field. He's not capable of leading people. He doesn't have the knowledge about the conflict and the history. He's a bit ignorant. So I think C tier. He's a reliable, good soldier. Jacob and Evie Frye. Jacob's a strong character. Evie good at stealth. Of course, they had to do it. Evie a little bit. Evie relies a little bit more on her on her mind, on her brain, and Jacob relies on his strength, his pure force. He's a brute. But I don't think they are capable of leading the assassins. I think they're the ones to be called for, like when Ezio whistles. So they're the ones to come. So I think they're on the same level as Adevale. Bayek of Siwa. He's not your typical assassin because there was no Assassin's Creed Brotherhood as Assassin Brotherhood at that time. But he's the one to build it. And I think he might not be the best assassin ever. I think there are people who have taken the Brotherhood to another level, such as Altair, Ezio. But I still think he is very valuable. He has the strength. He can infiltrate. He can do the stealth thingy. He's not very intellectually there. He's not mentally there. Of course, he wants to avenge his son, but I think he is the origin of something great. I think he is on the same level as Connor. There are those who come after him who become better, but he is a good base. He is a good starting point for the Brotherhood. Eivor. I still haven't played Valhalla because I don't really want to play the new Ubisoft games, but I have seen many videos, I have seen gameplay and let's plays, and we can say that he is yet another exclusion. He's not your typical assassin, but he provides this fresh view. You don't have to be a stealthy assassin. You can be a Viking. He doesn't quite represent the interests of the Brotherhood, but he is still very valuable for the series because now we can see that assassins don't have to be those kind of guys to wear the capes and purely rely on their assassin abilities. He is kind of an assassin, but in a different field, you know? There are those who do it stealthy, there are those who do it in an open battle, but still can do it stealthy. And intellectually, he doesn't have the knowledge, he isn't there as Altair or Ezio, but still he is valuable, and I like to see this fresh view. I actually would like to see an only female main character in the next game, and I would like to see something fresh too. Either very stealthy assassin that would rely purely on stealth, like a stealth action game, or something cool like Eivor does, like this pure force brute. He is strong and he will achieve. He's the one to be in the assassin army. If we had to make like an army, we would put Connor, Adevale, probably Bayek, and also Eivor. These four are some of the strongest assassins to ever live. So I think that Eivor can be... I don't think he is quite there as Bayek. Bayek is much more valuable, I think. He's a little bit lower. I would actually put him in the C tier. He's a good, valuable, reliable assassin. So that's pretty much it. We have two assassins in the S tier. One S-ish, but he's not an assassin. One in the A tier. Some A-ish assassins, like Edward and Shay. B tier too. And most of them are in the C and D tiers. So I think that's fair. And yeah. I completely forgot about Cassandra and Alexios. So Cassandra and Alexios are ultimate assassins. I think they're so good. Like, they can teleport. Instead of stealthily assassinating someone and hiding their body, they can throw their weapon and teleport. Tell me about some other assassin that can teleport. And this skill is crucial. It's OP for an assassin, so I think they could beat a whole fucking army if they wanted to. They can just spin around and turn all of those assassins that we can see into minced meat, obliterate, vaporize them all. They have superpowers, so I think they don't even fit in this tier list. I think they need a completely fresh and new tier list for themselves, so they can freely occupy all of these positions. They're just so good, and they're funny. Putting an eye in a goat's ass, that's funny. Have you seen any other assassin do that? No. If you have good sense of humor like that, that means you have a higher IQ, and I think their IQ is around 300 to 500. So yeah, these two are a completely different breed. They're built different. Shush. So yeah, let me know if you agree with my tier list down in the comments, and I see you in the next video. I do gaming stuff, and thank you for watching. As always, have a nice day.